Hey, how you been? It's me, Glenna, with Glenna Girl Tarot. If I knew how to edit graphics in, they would have been right there. I want us to take a look at, I've been feeling drained. I'm hoping this can be like invigorating for both of us, but I just want to like clear away the cobwebs. That sounds chilly. Chilly? It sounds cheesy. I want to clear away the cobwebs and get all over what could be disrupting a sense of joy. What could be stopping us from feeling like we deserve joy? What could be stopping us from feeling like we can create joy in our lives or tap into it or access it? I know that's like what I need right now. I really need that. So let's take a look together. You cannot heal someone else without healing yourself, and vice versa. And we're all healers. So, yeah, I think this will be good. Get your water, get your tea, and I will see you in your reading.
Hello everybody, welcome to the pick a card portion of this pick a card reading. I hope this is all straight. It's kind of hard for me to tell with this tripod setup. So I'm so sorry if it's one of those things that's really distracting to the eye. But I'm glad you're here, and let's see if we can do this thing. So if you're new here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get quiet for a second and center yourself, and then whichever card is calling to you, you're gonna go to the description box and click on the corresponding timestamp. So what we've got here in card number 1 is the Pyrite. This is card number 2 with the Lumerian, and card number 3 with the Apatite Palmstone. So go ahead, take a moment. If you need a little more time, go ahead and pause, take as much time as you need. And I look forward to seeing you in your reading.
Okay, so first, piping hot, coming up out of the pile 1, card 1, y'all have remember your spark. Let's consult the book. Oh, this is card number 1 of the whole entire deck, so the explanation is right here. Remember your spark. This is a card for going back to the start. Either we feel like we are starting from scratch or we need to begin again because of recent setbacks. Beginnings are magical for all their new potential. Untarnished by illusory limits and the expectations of others, beginnings are moments for setting out clear intentions, making sure they are aligned with our hearts. Any new journey will ultimately be for our growth, bringing us closer to the highest power that we believe in. Start your journey with the spirit of excitement, love, and trust. It is important to realize that the road ahead cannot be failure unless we refuse to learn from it. Do what you feel you came to do, even if it's not clear just yet. Your first step is simply to allow yourself to begin. All that matters is that you keep putting one foot in front of the other. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Are you being a little critical of yourself lately? I don't know. That may be for some of you, not all of you. You don't have to have the whole thing figured out. This whole, like, what is my purpose here? Start with just what feels like a yes in my body. What feels like a yes in my body? If something feels like a no, don't do it. Hopefully you're in a position where you can say no. Yeah, feel the yes in your body. And if you're not sure what that feels like, do a little body scan, a little intuition body scan. Like, sit with yourself, see where you feel tense, and try to just close your eyes, breathe, feel into anything you can get from that tense feeling. Any information, like it might be shapes, sights, sounds you remember, like something really random, but if you keep track of it for long enough and keep writing it down, it might add up to something. Know what I mean? That was, for somebody, that was really full blast coming through. And the Magician is peeking at me from the bottom of the deck. The Magician reverse, like definitely remembering the power that you have, which is like easier said than done. Like, I think, you know, easier said than done. So let's keep going. Let's pull some cards. So you're gonna hear like background noise because I live with some lovely people. Okay. So I'm getting this feeling of like, and I want to be careful how I say this, because if you're a person who, well, I'll just say this, like, I think if you are in a period of rest, it might be wrapping up soon. It might be wrapping up soon. And if that makes you feel a little anxious or panicked, like, time is a flat circle. Like, soon doesn't mean in a week. It might just mean like, it could be a week, a month, 2 months. It's going to be wrapping up in time with when it's supposed to wrap up for you, right? You're approaching the time where it's like, I think you're going to be stepping out of some rest time into the light of day, where it's like we're super visible and we feel really vulnerable, but we're also seeing everything really, really, really clearly. And we see things differently than we did before. We are different now than we were before. And we're listening to different parts of ourselves than we were before. So like, as far as accessing joy, remembering your spark, it's like, I know those old critical voices, but I don't listen to them anymore. I'm a better steward to my brain with the 9 of Swords here. Is this helpful? Oh, I'm so embarrassed that we all know this vampire's name, and the fact that I can't think of it right now is fine. I probably shouldn't for copyright's sake. I know the actor is like Bela Lugosi, right? I don't know. I was just thinking, I pulled this card for myself today and I was like, oh, great. But it doesn't have to be that. It can just be the like simple question of like, is that what that is? Is that really, is what you think really what's going on? Does that person really not want to talk to you, or are you maybe projecting that onto them? What if you operated under a different idea? Like, no, they don't dislike me. They really actually enjoy my company. Try that on. Instead of thinking like, oh, like everyone hates me, which like, that's hyperbolic, but I also feel like we've all been there. Does everybody hate me? What if everybody loved you? What if everybody loved you and like needed your spark? And what if this like new beginning, what if you already have all the tools you need for it? What if you know more than you think you do? Because like, you've got some dreams, I think, and you've got some ideas of like what you want to do. And I just want to affirm that like, there's some more people coming in and out. You don't have to fight yourself on it. What if you got out of your own way? What if you put some of the things down that you've been carrying? Maybe you don't need them to spark the new thing. Remember your spark, the new beginning. Maybe you don't need them anymore. They're maybe just like not useful to you anymore. Because the 10 of Wands reverse is on the back of the deck. So that's coming in. Page of Swords. Oof, if horses or roses or rocks are like significant to you. But it's the thing I love about Page of Swords is its element is like air. It's the pages are fixed. So we're talking about Aquarius energy here, where it's like utterly at the service of collective, but with sovereignty. So there's this like extreme service of community and ideas and sharing and information, and electricity is corresponded with Aquarius. We're disseminating information, and yet we're not getting engulfed in it when we do it. We are sovereign. We are still separate, right? We are of the community and we are interdependent. We are not codependent. You won't become codependent. I don't see any fear of that happening, but like, you won't become codependent because you're allowed to work with yourself in a soul-based way, and I think you probably want to, and I think that's what like stepping into the sun is showing you right now. I think it's showing you that you are a different person, like we said. Like you're sort of like looking at yourself in the light of day too now, and you're like, the candle just flickered at that. Just here to say, I've got a light pink candle going for like self-love. Yeah, you can't believe your eyes maybe a little bit. And like the fact that the magician was like glaring at me at the beginning of this, it's just like you are the architect. It sounds so cheesy, but like, ooh, you are the architect. If we're asking ourselves what's really true and what we're actually seeing, you can also ask what's possible. How much joy can I access? And like when we're in the moment of feeling so depleted and so disgusted with the world, or so depressed, so if feeling like we are like not worthy, those are all important feelings to cycle through. And I think a tether can be, if I can feel this bad, how much joy can I feel? You know, there's that thing, it's like the depth of our grief is our, no, the depth of our grief is the depth of our joy. So turning it on its head of just like, yeah, I'm getting really emotional, feeling some like big emotions come up because it's like the words aren't coming to me. And if you're somebody who's like usually able to access words, that's like a not fun feeling. So whoever is out there that is feeling that too, like that's a hard, scary feeling. And I want to challenge you to maybe consider it's not the time for words. And does joy need words? It's rotten when we're like, I'm having this experience and I want a way to like remember it and like write it down, and like maybe that'll come, but maybe you just need to be in the dream of it right now. Like you're about to set off, I think, is what it feels like. You're about to set off on this like young hero's journey, and you've got, I want to say like you've got everything you need, but that feels basic. If I'm being honest, that feels basic. This old son of a gun coming up. Wheel of Fortune, ruled by Jupiter, and so is Temperance. Interesting. Wheel of Fortune. Is anybody in this life really lucky? Like, yes. And really consider at the end of the day, if there's like this wishful thinking going on, like, would you trade places with that person? I bet you wouldn't. I bet you wouldn't. And I bet at the end of the day, every time you would choose you. So start choosing yourself. Start building those pillars within yourself so that, like, I mean, this came up reversed. Either way, it's kind of like beep boop. But the way that the Star and the Hermit are here reversed, indicating like the dreaming, the rest, the like, I'm picturing like being at a hearth, gathering your courage, like the distillation of dreams and like knowledge of just like, you know, you're about to take the little light from the Hermit. You're about to take this little light of the Hermit, which is traditionally like a lantern. You can only see what's in front of you. You're going within to sort of like get your own idea of like how to proceed, so that you're not taking in like all this advice from people who don't know where you're going. Thank you, Glennon Doyle. And the Star is like also very significantly linked to rest, capital R, rest, for the community. Again, Aquarius energy here. Fantastic. You're about to take the tiny light of the lantern into the light of the sun. Massive, right? So get your tools, right? Okay, yeah. these four, the Magician has all the elements within them, all of the things they need with them. That's why I wanted to say you have everything you need. The Magician card, you've got everything you need. It's the as above, so below, like positive mental attitude. Honestly, if I had to like say, if somebody was like, you describe the Magician in one sentence, I would say positive mental attitude. Maybe that's not true. Maybe if somebody was like 3 words, Magician go, I'd say positive mental attitude. Anyways, when the wheel turns, and it's always turning, the only constant is change, right? When the wheel turns, you're gonna be ready to go. You know, you've got the Magician, you're gonna be ready to go. You've got your Aquarian ideals, you're gonna be ready to go. Aquarian ideals, I mean, of like, because the star is Aquarian, Aquarius knows when to rest, to be at service of the community. Aquarius knows that if they are just running depleted, they're going to show up in a way that's not useful to anybody. I'm picturing somebody like knowing that they don't want to kill the vibe somewhere, and so they're like, I'm not gonna, this circles back to taking to your sacred yes, your sacred no in your body. I'm not gonna fight the no in my body just because someone has shoulded me before in the past to like hang out or do this thing that I don't want to do. Hermit energy, you know, we're going into a place in ourselves where we're like, actually, I don't need like all of this input on what I should do. I can feel the yes and the no in my body. It's taking those first small steps. Like, if you don't know what that feels like yet, get close with your lantern of just like, do I want to eat breakfast first, or do I want to journal first? Maybe you have a routine and that's not relevant, but that's an example. And just like, which one's the yes? Aquarius is good at feeling out that yes and no, and can do it well, and they do it for themselves and for their community. Also, you know, it's not that like you have to be of service to your community at all times. That's also an Aquarian thing. It's like, no, I'm gonna take it back for me. You know, rest looks different for everybody. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I sort of like petered out there, but I think that was it. That's really what was moving through me. Take a deep breath. Will you take a deep breath too? Take a deep breath right now. Ooh, the only card I haven't talked about here is Page of Pentacles in reverse. You know, hello. I do like this idea that like, because in the Page of Pentacles, we're really asking what I want to do on this earth. Because at the 10 of Pentacles, we're sort of like, oh, time though. Oh, when I look back on my life, when I look back on my one wild, precious life, what will I have hoped I did? Was I generous with myself and with others as far as kindness and compassion? Do I like the role that I filled and showed up in, or did I just kind of learn it by rote? Is that what I'm doing right now? How do I value myself, and how do I value others? And do I believe value is only spending power, or am I uncovering a different kind of value and a different kind of meaning that is maybe outside of what capitalism and cis heteronormative patriarchal values have taught me? Probably temperance, of looking back at who you've been and how you want to proceed, and alchemizing all of those things together within you. In those 10 of Pentacles questions, we graduate from that into the page. And we have that knowledge now, we can't unsee that. And so it's maybe this feeling right now of just wide-eyed terror. What is it that I want to do? Team up with your Page of Swords here to be like, let me take your hand. Let me take your hand and show you what's possible. Show you some options. Let's try some options. Let's like feel out some options. Let's try. Let's just try out some things. Nothing has to be yes right now. Can we get a clarifier on that? Does anything have to be yes right now? It doesn't. High Priestess reversed. Talk about sitting with your own intuitive knowing. And this is right after the Magician too. You've got all your tools, your peak intuitive knowing. And I think it's reversed because you just gotta turn it up just a little bit more of that trust in yourself, a little more trust in that spark, and in this new journey, and like the joy of it, and the joy of a new journey, and it doesn't have to be scary. Maybe you're at this juncture in your life and you're like terrified, because we do think of big transitions sometimes as really scary. Hello. But ask yourself what you're really seeing, and like, okay, well, is it good or bad, or is it just different? Am I receiving bad information, or do I just feel scared, which makes sense? Maybe I just feel scared, which makes sense, but that doesn't mean I'm going to operate under that directive. I'm going to listen to my soul here, because I got a lot of really good information from it in my repose, and I would really be doing a disservice to myself if I didn't listen to that, and I think it would be impossible not to. So these like reversals, it's like you gotta, I'm picturing like a boot stuck in wet cement, and you just gotta like, the point isn't to take the boot with you. It's fine if you lose the boot. You're just trying to get your foot out. Go forward. I like that. That's a spicy analogy. I've got my own oracle deck that I've been making. She's got big dreams, folks. I've got this oracle deck, and you know, there were some things I said that I feel could be useful from this deck. And we're just, you know, whoop, whoop. I think for this, it's just like closing statements, please, universe. It says, you could do that. Just don't should yourself, please. It's just weird, and it's okay. This also came up. Oh, back of the deck energy. This feels significant now. Energy leak, darling. And hello. That's okay. So there's maybe you got to plug up the holes for some energy leaks. Allow your desire and your attention to come together for an intention, for focus, and being mindful of perhaps people that you feel a drain from. You know, we've been in those situations before where it's like we feel tired after being with somebody, and we feel like maybe they've taken without giving. Because an exchange, like an interaction, should be an exchange, right? That's what community is for. We've talked about community, like star energy, Page of Swords community. Is that a yes or a no in your body to hang out with that person? You deserve to ask yourself that and be honest with yourself. You've been really honest with yourself so far, I think. You know, and it's worth saying, it's really cheesy, but like if you saw somebody else with an energy leak, with a person, you know, would you should anybody else that you know? Sometimes we do. We're like, oh, you should, because we think we're going to be helpful. Don't do that to people. Just as a side note, you probably don't need that. That's me to the heavens asking for people to stop shooting each other. And I'm staring at the Wheel of Fortune, like beep, boop, boop. It's always turning. Life is so short. Would you encourage any of your friends, your dearly beloveds, to ignore their truth? I don't think you would. I don't think you ever would in your whole life. Okay. I think that's where I'll leave you. Should I get one more oracle card? Let's see what it is. Co-create. We don't have to do this alone. It's that thing of Page of Pentacles, Page of Swords. What is possible? The Page of Pentacles has that really important question, and the Page of Swords is like, that's a great question. Let's think on it. Let's come over to the drawing board with me, and let's work together. Aquarian energy, community, let's work together. Working with others can create new possibilities. All relationships lead to growth. Like, we can read from the book. It's card number 35, if that's significant to you. You may be standing at the threshold of a new relationship or a partnership and wondering whether or not to dive in. Let go of your expectations of others while becoming clearer about what you can learn and bring to the collaboration. This clarity and honesty from you needs to be matched by all involved to be fair. All relationships have the potential to bring out the best from all the individuals involved. Showing up as your best self encourages others to do the same, and sometimes that means boundaries, sometimes that means cutting off energy leaks. Am I right? When doing things alone, we learn about our own abilities. When working with others, our abilities are expanded to include the experience and creative ideas of those we choose to collaborate with. It can certainly become a rewarding experience if we make it so. Mutual expansion and growth are the results. Okay, so I think that is perfectly sums up everything we said. But I just want to say, like, I'll just say that in this past year and a half, if you've been spending a lot of time in isolation, or have felt maybe you're never alone, but you've felt isolated, take time. Take your time. Take your time. You don't have to have all the answers right now. It's a really big adjustment. And so it's, I just feel like with the Star reversed and the Hermit reversed, it's like, I guess I'll come out into the sun, and it's scary. And that's so valid, and that makes sense. And I love that this is encouraging you to recommit, open up to the beautiful possibilities of what happens when we work together. And it's amazing that it's here with this Aquarian energy. And that's it. I leave you there. That's all I got for you. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing. Comment like which pile you chose and like maybe something about it. Please. And if you feel this is never an expectation, but my Venmo and my Cash App are below as well. If you feel called, if this was useful and you would like to send some love back, never an expectation, just an open possibility. I love this for you, and I hope that you start feeling, even in the smallest ways, a little more joy each day, each moment by moment, right? Okay, I love you. You've got this. I love you. And do something that's a yes for yourself today. Okay, that's it. I love you. Goodbye. Okay, hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. Sorry, I'm just like doing a little of this. Oh, okay. We're gonna use the Way Home Tarot for you. Okay, so your card was number 14. Look deeper. We're going to consult our book. I read. This card indicates a need to go beneath the surface. An easy answer is not going to be adequate here. Enchanté. Take the time to wait for further information to reveal itself. You may need to ask deeper questions, or you may need to approach the situation from another angle in order to expose some blind spots. Detach yourself from your first impressions and be open to new information. Not to make this about me, but I almost feel like that is a note for me as your reader. Interesting. I've never experienced that before. Is that like sacrilegious to make it about that? It could be, certainly a note for both of us, but I feel like for this question we're asking, I think it is for both of us as we proceed, that it's not going to be easy here, this roadblock to joy. I'm going to start with the Way Home Tarot, but there's another deck here that I might also feel called to use. I feel like both of these want to be involved. Sometimes I like to use 2 different decks because it can be like it's like they can have a conversation with each other that we get to listen in on. You know what I mean? I love tarot. So let's get this deck ready to go too. Let's go. I'm like really eager to get this started, and maybe that eagerness is like the part where it's like, no, 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 no. Look deeper. Look deeper though. What are we looking deeper at here? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you recently gone through something that feels super painful? And are you running away from it? I've never done that in my life, so. Okay, baby cakes. I wanted to do a poll of like, what is the first impression? First impression rose. That's a joke from The Bachelorette. And I'll just also add that the flame was going crazy just now on this candle. First impression, wild here. Interesting because there's, yeah, a lot of swords energy. Yeah, it's uncomfortable to hang out, isn't it? In the pain. Trying to get a look at what is deeper. What is deeper, Spirit? What is deeper beneath the surface? That maybe you think something is beyond repair. You deserve nice things. I feel like I need to say that because like something beyond repair, like in a material sense, we think of like a shattered vase or like a broken bike, I don't know. And it's like that phrase of like, this is why we can't have nice things. And I just, in a metaphorical way, I want to say you deserve to have nice things. Don't abandon yourself. What the fuck went down? Did like, if somebody's let you down recently, be it an institution, a relationship, like an individual, it doesn't mean you have to take scraps now. It doesn't mean you have to jump at the first opportunity that presents itself to you or comes your way. What's for you is not going to miss you. When somebody does come forward with an opportunity for you, receive it. Receive that, please, because like they're giving it to you because they want you to have it. You can trust that. There's a bird on my like window ledge outside. There's a significant ledge outside my window. Birds never land there. And there was one really, really chattering just now. So maybe birds are significant to you. I don't know, but take that for what you will. Maybe that's not for everybody. Again, it's a general reading. Take what works for you. But that I've lived in this room for 2 years. A bird has never done that while I've been in here. And God knows I've spent a lot of time in this room this past year and a half. So hypervigilance, a trauma response, right? A useful one. Thank you, body, for feeling, for looking out for me. It's tricky when like our environment before has not been safe, but we were supposed to believe it was. It can like really fuck with us for a long time. And so like, because we've got 7 of Wands coming up, Knight of Axes reversed. This is Knight of Swords. 8 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles reversed, 3 of Swords reversed, and 6 of Swords reversed. It's like you're sort of like running away. Like this card is like, you know, take what you will from this. You know, it's a defensive position. It's very understandable and it makes sense that we are in defensive positions sometimes. And it's this like really wild energy to go away from it, right? If we're thinking about joy, we're thinking about looking deeper. You are moving fast, and that's not bad, but don't, you might miss something. And like you use this energy to access the joy. right? Like this is Gemini energy. And as a Gemini, you know, I think I really love the way my mind works sometimes. And then it's my worst enemy at other times. And it's like, I'll get swept up in ideas, which I love to do. And then I plant seeds and I see what comes up. Or I'm like lost in it. And it can carry you really far until it starts to like completely drag you back. And I really do picture like a horse being like dragged into the mud, which is like a horse doesn't, that's heartbreaking to see that happen to like a wild creature. And so like this sort of rewilding of yourself is like, and by that I mean like it's like be an unbridled horse here. I just feel really called to be like to focus on the horse here, like break free, like break. It's maybe it's not about this figure, it's about this figure, maybe. Okay, thank you for encouraging that to come up. Maybe it's about the horse. Like, no, let me go figure this out. Let me go figure this out. And I don't want to bring this energy with me. And this again, it's like you can like ask, like, hey, I'm feeling this right now. I'm feeling X, Y, and Z. Like, can you help me understand? We don't ask just anybody that. We do that with our most trusted friends and mentors. And certainly, I get the feeling like you might feel betrayed by a mentor recently, but we'll get to that. Because you've like already walked away from something and you're in this like repose, right? Of like, I'm gonna take care of my body. I'm gonna take care of my body. Speaking of, so that everything doesn't feel like this, right? When we're on guard, it's because we're afraid of this. This is Three of Swords. This is like mega pain. And it validates that that pain happened. And honestly, it is how we get here. It's how we get like holding our breath, like scared, like trauma response, trauma body, you know. Allow yourself to step from this into this. No, repose, 4 posts, like you don't have access to me right now, so that I'm not like this, and I can turn this right side up, this 6 of Swords, where it's like that happened, and it will always be with me. It's with me, it's in my records, so to speak. And I think this is where you set out to look deeper. This is where we are setting out to look deeper. So let me get these out of the way. And this is these are the cards I pulled for like what we're looking deeper at. The first one was Hangman reversed, Temperance reversed, 5 of Swords reversed, 6 of Pentacles reversed, 4 of Cups, and 6 of Cups reversed. There can still be so much sweetness. And that sounds very simple, right? And if we're thinking of like, no, look deeper, get beneath the surface. It's like, I think that's the ticket. It's like, you wouldn't think there'd be anything sweet left because of all the shit that's happened, because of all the muck. You look at it and you're like, no, that shit was painful. There can still be a lot of sweetness. And normally I'd be like, beware of rose-colored glasses, but I don't think we're looking back with the 6 of Cups, we're looking forward. And certainly we can like look at the future with rose-colored glasses. I always think of it as like a past thing of like romanticizing the thing that happened. That's not what we're doing. We're like, we're hurt, we're jaded maybe, we're exhausted, and I should say, this alchemy can happen too. This alchemy of the pain, like this 5 of Swords of just like the Rider-Smith-Waite image is like these figures walking away. They've lost a battle. They've lost their swords. And the figure in the foreground is like, I've won these, but we are, what it is we are the figure walking away. We're like, I'll never get those back. And there's like the shame that can run in there, or any number of things. And maybe this is more about like, that was so fucked up, I don't even want to think about it, you know. And it is this like running sort of energy in the Knight of Swords, like Gemini, like but don't do that. If you're gonna do that, be careful of be mindful of abandoning yourself in it. Okay? Be gentle with yourself when that steam runs out. How would you treat 5-year-old you if they were going and then couldn't anymore, or if they were trying to learn through something? I think the sweetness that we're looking deeper for, it is with your like inner child, and just holding them. And it can be as simple as that. Just hold that inner kid that's like, it might feel really activated right now. Hold that inner kid, and just in your best way. Doesn't have to look like somebody else's way. Maybe it's solemn, maybe it's gentle, maybe it's spicy or like fun, I don't know. But hold that inner kid in this period of suspension, a suspended one reversed. Can be really uncomfortable here. I honor that. It's just really uncomfortable. Maybe because you don't want to receive something. Receiving can be really hard, and we like don't want to become like reliant on it. There's like this idea that it's like, you know, we've perpetuated in this idea that you should be able to handle anything on your own, and that's not true. You can still be self-sufficient and need help and need community and resources, and you don't have to like jump at the first opportunity. Oh, so thirsty. You don't have to jump at the first thing, right? We're going deeper than that. These fours are here to help you protect yourself, and I think it's hard to receive because of these letdowns. I'm sensing like this letdown of like, you know, it's like we don't trust people in the way that we used to, which I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that has happened. So in the unfairness of it, what would be more unfair is to rob yourself entirely of the sweetness that is still possible. And not in a Pollyanna way, in a way of like, what is still sweet to you? Don't let anybody take that from you. They can't take that from you. They can't. The things that are still sweet to you, they cannot take from you. And I'm so sorry that like the community you had, and these like figures, these pillars, this like notion, this thing that was in place has crumbled, or it's crumbled for you in a way. But it's you didn't mess up. And in the way that it's like, take what works, leave the rest here, it's like, I want to say the same for you of that experience of like, that is unfair and it hurt. And it's like, what are you going to take and go forward now? And finding the joy is up to you now. It's up to you. Just because it is like deeper than surface level, you know, doesn't mean it can't be simple. I feel like pulling. Well, this is coming up, 5 of Wands, which funnily enough, this did fall on a flame one time. Yeah, making things with people is messy. It gets fucking messy. And it's like halfway on the Wands journey, and it's like feels the most combustible. So let it go. And it's really uncomfortable to be around death. Hello, it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel natural to sit with like a decomposing body, but like honor what was there. That's the part that they can't take from you, and that's the sweetness that you're gonna find, is when you honor your dead, and you will give it the time, honor the time it needs to decompose, and it'll turn into something else. Like nothing in nature is wasted. This wasn't a waste of time. It wasn't. It informs the next thing that's going to happen. And it's like not happening yet. Don't try to force it in that Knight of Swords energy. Figure things out there, certainly, but it's not the time to force anything. It's the time to heal. And healing is slow, cyclical, looks different for everybody. Dream on the possibilities. Seven of Cups coming through on the back of the deck. Dream on the possibilities. Allow yourself to dream. Really dream on what's inside each cup. You don't have to pick one right now. You can pick two probably someday when you're feeling ready. I'm gonna see now if there's anything else left in this deck that I have created myself. Is it thriving or is it dying? Maybe this was dying for a long time, but it looked shiny and wonderful. And you can let it die now. We were talking about this in the first pile. Not good, not bad, just different. Maybe what happened was bad, but going forward, it doesn't have to be good or bad. It's just different. No, is that forward for you? I don't know. I don't know why forward is this way. Yeah, that's it. That's everything I want to say about that. That's everything I want to say about that. Yeah, and the bottom of the deck starts somewhere. Okay, start with one of these cups. Dream on it. What was a sweet thing, you know? What was a sweet thing from this experience, and what's a sweet thing to look forward to? And let that little sweet thing like tingle in there. What's something that makes you go, oh, that was a sweet thing. Oh, I wonder if like this cup is gonna have a similar sweet thing. Maybe. I think you get to decide, and that's the other part that's even deeper. I hope you get to decide. Okay, there's so many cards here. I had a feeling. That's wild. Okay, I'm sending you my deepest hope is for tenderness for you. These wounds are deep, I think. Tend to them as you would an external wound. It's not fair because people can't see the trauma that's in our records. That's where the healing process gets so messed up too. We like back ourselves into a corner of like, it's not that bad. And that's when we are sort of stuck in the hypervigilance of like, is this that bad? I don't know. You know, it's not to put all of the responsibility of healing on you, but I do just want to encourage you to, that's a microwave, encourage you to softly, gently, diligently tend to those wounds, if that makes sense. Okay, I love you. I hope this was of service to you. If it was, please consider liking or commenting or subscribing. My Cash App and Venmo are always below. Never an expectation, just an open possibility if you choose to send that. And I will hopefully see you in the next reading. Okay. I mean the next time, not the next one. But maybe you also felt called to pile 3. We'll see. Sending you a lot of love. I'm sending you a lot of love. Okay, that's all I got. Goodbye. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this pile, this card, group 3. Hello, group 3. You have gotten number 9, rest. Divine timing is always spot on. Let go of your need to control and take a break. Don't resist the rest. I have a feeling this will be very straightforward. I read, rest. Whether in physical work or with inner spiritual work, we cannot go full steam ahead all the time. Rest periods allow us to integrate all that we've learned. So take a break and be assured you do not need to do anything more for now. You've done the hard work and your prayers have been answered. Trust that the universe is now doing its job of delivering your desires to you. Just let go of all expectations as well as your need to control the timing of the results. Let your body rest. Ooh, I just heard like comparison is the thief of joy, which this reading is all about joy. And we don't always realize when we have expectations, candles flickering like cuckoo. We don't always realize we have expectations. So in this period of rest, I think this might be a good chance for you to check in with yourself and see, oh, I do have an expectation about that thing. Okay, can I manage that? Can I prepare for the worst, hope for the best? We don't have to be productivity machines. And like, I get it. We all get wrapped up in that sometimes. But like, let's take a real quick look in depth. We will take an in depth. Oh, okay, wait. One of the cards is already facing me. I feel like that's significant. Was it? Did I? Nope, gonna keep shuffling. Let's see. You know what I want to see? Rest is very like straightforward. Like it's obviously time for you to rest to access some joy. I want to know like what that's going to look like for you and what will be joyful about that. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Whoops. Huh. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of how you got overworked. And I don't blame yourself for getting overworked. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Give you something to think about as I shuffle. When you get to the end of your life, what will you hope you had done? What will you have hoped? What role do you want to play? Like, are you playing a role right now that's just like by rote? And it's like, you're just kind of like going through the motions? Or are you showing up in a way that you love? I also just want to offer, like, there's no such thing as complete emotional fulfillment. Don't do that to yourself. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna stop pulling cards here. Because maybe I'm making it more complicated than it is. In the rest, we can also look up, look around, take an honest inventory, because we've got eight of Pentacles reversed coming up, and it's like this person is really, really lost in their work, and it's like, oh no, wait, take a beat. Look at what you've done, and it's in a way of like, we're not looking. We see how far we've climbed, and we see how much further there is to go. But allow this to inspire you. Don't get down about how much there is to go. Get inspired by this part. So there's that. That's the last of that. Oh, I just said 5:55 on the timer. You know, I think you've really hustled to make other people feel good, take care of other people. Queen of Cups. I invite you in this rest to like turn that inward. You know, this cup, this one is for her. She can share it when she wants to. She gets to dip into it whenever she wants. And there, you have to refill it. You have to refill it. And I think that's what this is about. Refilling it looks all kinds of ways, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, just rest. And it's like, that's really available in many, many different ways. And sometimes it doesn't feel available at all. Maybe it's not available. So I want to deeply honor if it's not available. And hopefully we can get to facets of this that are accessible. What can we carve out? What can we... Because like 10 of Cups isn't here, but I'm feeling that 10 of Cups energy of like, there's never complete emotional fulfillment. There isn't an over there. So like, what do we have in like a sweet, precious moment? Do we have 2 minutes? Do we have 2 minutes? Can we reset in 2 minutes? Can we take a moment? Can we like flip on a like 2-minute video of something stupid? Do we just need to like not think about something for a second? Do we have 2 minutes to just like remember we have a body and give ourselves a little massage? So like maybe you've been in Queen of Cups mode, or maybe you've been in Knight of, or King of Wands mode, which is like domain, empire is what I'm thinking of. Not always, it's not always what it is, but it is certainly somebody who's like in charge of a lot, maybe. That's what it feels like here. What I won't allow either of those scenarios to do is to feel like a wimp for needing to walk away. No, you're not a wimp. That's usually not what I take away from that card, but I feel like that's what needs to be said. Because like if there isn't any, there isn't complete emotional fulfillment. This card is ruled by Scorpio, Page of Cups, which is like fixed water. There's all this suffering in the world, and there's all this joy. And like, we don't really know the joy without the suffering. That's not to romanticize suffering or like, you know, make it okay. It doesn't have to be okay. And I think there's something sort of like detached in the Page of Cups. If we're talking about managing our expectations, get into that Page of Cups mode where it's like, oh, something could really go bad here. Or it could go really well. I don't know. I have to wait and see. You know, if we're coming out of this, like, you know, we've talked about Eight of Pentacles. That, So yeah, if we're looking at what this rest will look like, maybe we're taking, you know, Page of Cups, Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups, like, you are going to move in the world again. And in this rest, these restful moments, maybe, a lot might come up. You know, it's like, okay, and also a lot of feelings might come up here. Maybe you want to be cavalier, or maybe a lot of emotions are coming up and it's overwhelming. So we're resting so that we can develop this container to eventually come back to our Queen of Cups, yes, but you know, where we're like refueling, and we can let that inform how we return to our King of Wands as well. But the rest means you're developing the container to move in the world. Queen of Cups, we gotta retreat, we gotta repose. And this is for when we are moving in the world, the Knight of Cups. This is all kind of like cyclical, you know, it's like it's not linear. Time isn't linear. Time is a flat circle. Our healing isn't linear. This is all swirling and informing each other. And it's like, the Knight of Cups, were like, there's a lot going on in here. And I've got the container to hold it. If we're thinking of like a glass of water that might overflow or might tip over. I think we've all felt that way before. If we can get that 10 of Cups energy of like, okay, I gotta like take a moment. I gotta, if you know, we might be in a period of rest, or maybe we're in a time where like we need to find restful moments inside of this chaotic, high stress something. So when we're in the moment where it feels like too much, what tools can you develop to bring yourself back? You know, sometimes, I just as an example, sometimes I'll just say out loud to myself if I'm feeling so angry, something has set me off, I'm livid. I will just say, I'm so angry. I am so angry. And I will say it out loud. And I picture myself in a like river that's like raging. And I swim to the side. I make it to the side and I sit and I look at the raging river and I'm like, yeah, I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Just an example. So like, what is the thing that brings you back into your body of like, Right, okay. Okay. Because then, yeah, maybe we can get into the like joyful aspect of Page of Cups, of like the Cavalier. Like, I will let that expectation go. Anything can happen. We never have control. We never have control. No, we don't. So, like, relinquishing the grip on it and saying, okay, I've done my part. I've done what I can do. I'm loosening and loosening and loosening the grip. Because this little freak, Queen of Wands, is freaky. This little freak, they are all about vibrating at their own frequency of freakiness, freaky vibes. Queen of Wands is the witch of the tarot, right? And because we're thinking of like, it's queens are water, wands are fire. Think of like a cauldron bubbling. So maybe our rest, like maybe you need the rest to be like, nah, I gotta keep something cooking or I will lose all momentum. Valid. It can be like an active self-care rest. My dear friend is currently making to-do lists each day, but it's in a period of like free time. A period being like a chunk of weeks. And the things on the list, it's like read read outside. They're like fun things, and like, what's a freaky thing you want to do? Not like, you know, the cat here, raspberry leaf, maybe that's significant to you. This is the Herbal Tarot, by the way, and if you've been noticing any of the herbs that are helpful, I am not an herbalist in any sense. I consult your doctor if you're wanting to do all of this. I'm not a medical expert. No. You know, especially if you're on any medication, you want to know how that's going to interact. So, what is fun to you? What's fun to you? What's freaky to you? What's a way you can release like a judgmental eye and just let yourself have in these restful, mindful moments? Like, I'm picturing like this, or maybe it looks like this, like shaking it out, like, I don't know. It's so trite, but it's like somebody marching to the beat of their own drum. And if we, like, let's really picture that, like somebody with a drum getting a beat and like marching down the street. Like, that indeed is somebody marching to the beat of their own drum. So it's like, you got to develop that sort of integrity. You know, sometimes we can't show up fully ourselves in every space we enter, and it's not fair. And the spaces where you can, it's going to inform, it's going to give this King of Wands integrity. It's going to, doing these things means you're showing up authentically, responsibly. You know, I think the thing about King of Wands is like there's a lot of power here. And I say this all the time about King of Wands. The King of Wands doesn't get here like, I've arrived and now no one can teach me anything. It's like the King of Wands remembers what the Two of Wands was about. They keep the Five of Wands in their back pocket. They keep all these lessons with them so that their power doesn't torch everything in sight. You know, I think that's how you ultimately want to look back on your life. I want you to be able to look back. You know, imagine yourself. As I mentioned earlier, 10 of Pentacles. Imagine yourself when you get to the end of your life. I don't want to say like the people are all that matter, but also it's like, how did you treat people? How did you treat yourself? Will you have hoped that you were a little more this Will you have hoped that you noticed the resting moments and what you did in there? Or given yourself more resting moments? Because I think, let that part of yourself go. Death can be really subtle. It's reversed here, so maybe it is. It can be really, really subtle. Just, I'm not gonna fret about that anymore. I'm really not. I'm kind of over spending the time and energy on that. It's really robbing me of a lot of joy. This fear of judgment that's kind of like lurking here. It's just got to clear out. Like, we don't let something die and we're immediately like, great, got that lesson forever. But we also don't want to forget about it, right? We can learn our lessons and then we sort of forget them. But let this just clear out and then integrate it. Whatever's dying, it doesn't mean you're gonna like immediately be like, great, and now I am this person. It's maybe gonna be subtle and over time. And then we notice like, oh, I am being like utterly myself. I'm showing up for myself, making magic for myself. I value my own magic for myself. I create expansively and joyfully for myself, not for the appearances of doing it, not for this like role I'm supposed to play. Because there isn't any clarity without that. You got to get some clarity going, and listen to what you want. What do you want? What do you want? It's possible. Maybe that's an oversimplification. Where do you see that what you want is possible? Do you want a popsicle? That's possible. Do you want to shake yourself out? It's possible. Do you want to like do something you normally wouldn't do? That's very general because it's a general reading. Maybe it's like, I never want Coca-Cola, but I want one right now, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna release all my preconceived notions about what Coca-Cola means. Releasing preconceived notions, yeah, that's a theme here, I think. Because maybe this death is subtle, or actually maybe it's really, really huge for you. And maybe it's like the death is still happening, and it's like that new T Swift song, Happiness, where she's like, I haven't met the new me yet. There's still, it's like, if it is a huge shift happening right now, it's like, it takes time to integrate. Rest and have patience with yourself. Because yeah, you're evolving. I felt like drawing another self-care oracle. Self-love oracle, excuse me. You are allowed to grow and to change your mind, your attitudes and beliefs to become stronger, lighter, and happier. The right people will celebrate these changes with you. The right people will celebrate these changes with you. Okay? Let's take an oracle card from the oracle deck that I am making. Yeah, you're allowed to just listen. You don't have to do all the talking. You're allowed to just listen deeply. Listen to your intuition, listen to your environment, get into some nature if that's accessible. Oh, this is a work in progress card. Is the old version of yourself haunting you. And these are gravestones. These are supposed to be gravestones. So we're talking about death here and maybe honoring who we were and just saying, hey, to that ghost of ourself. And you know, the echoes of our old selves. Like, allow yourself to have a conversation with them. Say hello to them. Sit down to tea with them. Hear what they have to say. Maybe they're like, you know, I really thought you were going to go further with this. And, you know, it's like, I'm sorry, ghost of myself and ghost of the past. Like, I didn't do that. That wasn't what happened. And now I'm shifting. And I don't know where I'm going yet, but I'm shifting. This is kind of like going all over the place. Oh, okay. Jealousy is just a compass. That feels like that's specific for somebody. Maybe in this idea of who you should be, like jealousy has been the motivator, or not. But I like to think of jealousy as a compass, because sometimes when we feel jealousy, we're like seeing somewhere we want to be. And is your ghost jealous, or are you jealous? And maybe you're not even jealous. Like, get close up on that thing that you're jealous of, and maybe you're not even jealous at all. Take a long, hard look at it. And taking a long, hard moment with your ghost of like, oh yeah, I did used to want those things, and now I want different things. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got. So, rest. Take rest, whatever that looks like or means to you. I hope this was of service. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I invite you to do that. Thank you for doing that. And Cash App and Venmo are always below. Never an expectation. Just available if you feel motivated, if that feels like a yes to you. And that's it. And I hope you will take some rest, and I love you, and I will see you in the next video, I hope. Please join me next time. Join me next time at Glenna Girl Tarot.